So tonight we pay tribute to a young lioness who has challenged governments and status quo. A woman who carries herself in ancient royal traditions and modern day cultures that speaks volumes without even having to say a word. Tonight's theme is branding. And we have many people in this room that understand the work that goes into creating and building a brand. You know, you start with the inception of an idea, you add action, and a brand is born. Well, tonight's recipient of the Jackie Robinson Fortitude Award is a powerful example of what to do when you're actually born into a brand. She has truly lived her life in a world full of expectancy and pressures with the grace and overstanding of the role of an heiress. The brand that I'm referring to, one that everyone in this room and everyone in this world are beneficiaries of. The life work of her family and the never-ending contributions of her grandfather, the prophet, the legendary superstar, the late great Bob Marley. Every time. All the hands combined. All the hands together, please. Who introduced both reggae, Rastafari lifestyle, as well as Jamaica to the world. The Marley brand is one of great influence, one that is treasured and revered by all. And tonight, for us to have one of his very own in our midst is overwhelming. She's more than just a representative of the brand. She too is a brand that is deeply rooted in activism and social justice, which her grandfather introduced to the world through music.
Here you go.
A brand forged in the fierce environment of Trenchtown, now being continued in Toronto by his granddaughter, who is an international student on scholarship studying image arts at Ryerson University, on the verge of graduating with a degree. A piece of paper which has its place in this world. But I'm sure it's what she's learned from her experiences outside of the classroom, in the classroom of the world, where she holds her highest accreditation. It's a tribute to her fortitude, to be honest, ladies and gentlemen. Those who've gone to school know what that kind of workload feels like. For her to somehow find time to handle a course full of studies and still spend time with Jay-Z and Beyonce in Jamaica, host private screenings of the Black Panther film for 700 youth in Jamaica, with plans of introducing the film to hundreds more across the world. Somehow she's found the time to do it all. You know, there are not too many brands, if you think about it, in the African diaspora that we could truly celebrate. I mean, I don't think Angel Mama is one.
No.
You know, what we got? What we got?
Robert Nesta Marley.
You don't know. One that has been so time-tested as the Marley brand, which was first introduced on albums and is now found on products sold all around the world. One of those albums, Legend, which was originally released May 1st, 1984, and I encourage us all on May 1st to go buy that album. Let's go buy some Bob Marley on May 1st, eh? Who's with me?
Yes.
Who's gonna buy a Bob Marley album on May 1st? So it can continue being the best-selling reggae album of all time, with over 15 million copies sold in the U.S. and an estimated 28 million copies sold globally. And wait till May 1st, that number's gonna change, right? When I first asked Donisha Pendergast, when did she realize the depth of the brand power that she inherited? She told me a story when she truly just came to grips of its influence. A brand that has granted her grace and a certain power that required action. She told me a story of Pinnacle and the Occupy Pinnacle movement, which is, from my understanding, the birthplace for Rastafari lifestyle, founded by Leonard Powell, who experienced the conditions of blacks living in America, and through revelations came to the conclusion there needs to be a new way of living thinking and worship, separate from the colonial system that we've been given. He created on a mountain, a place where God has chosen to reveal himself to the prophet Moses, a self-sufficient community of people creating a new identity for themselves in the colonized world, known as, starts with a B, come on now, known as, no, don't be scared, it's not Belize, Babylon. Say Babylon. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Change is coming to Babylon. Babylon is fall down. The brand was given root on this mountain in Jamaica. And the following text is from Donisha's website. I encourage you all to go to it. IamDonisha.com. The brand. Get familiar with the brand. This is text from her site. Pinnacle has over 4,000 at this time residents working and living in harmony with each other and the environment, utilizing the area's highly fertile land to grow an array of crops, including cannabis and hemp. The cannabis being used for spiritual, religious, and medical purposes, while the hemp was used in industrial ways. By 1954, after years of terror from the authorities, Pinnacle was destroyed, and the seeds of Rastafari scattered all over Jamaica. Today, what began as a small, rural-based political religious movement has disseminated its universal ideology of unity and oneness all over the world. Bob Marley's granddaughter, Donisha, has become involved in a campaign to protect the site of Jamaica's first Rastafarian community. She told me about the work that she's invested her time, a role that I'm sure all her ancestors prepared her for, challenging the government, channeling her strength from all the amazing people she has learned from through her life, especially her great-grandmother, the majestic Rita Marley. Give it up, please. Come on now. The majestic Rita Marley, whom we have the honor of having her brother and his wife present. Is this a special moment or what? Donisha arranged to have a meeting with the Prime Minister of Jamaica, and being the youngest in the room with a sizzler over there and many, many others around. The youngest in the room, the young lioness, demanded what was right and stood in the face of a Goliath and demanded change. She told me it was then that she realized the power of the Marley brand, because no one else would be able to bring the fight the way to the government the way she did and live to tell about it. In our conversation, she also helped me understand something I didn't see before, and that was a privilege that we all have. I may have missed it in the plume of the smoke screen called white privilege, but after my conversation with her, I can see that it's a privilege that we all have. A privilege to live the life that you want to live and decide where you invest your life. It is the most valuable thing that you have, and your time comes with a price. She was told that this world, this world was not created by us or for us, and we need to find ways to create a world that we can support our needs and fulfill our collective destinies. So it was her grandfather's commitment to living the Rastafarian lifestyle that he unapologetically introduced to the Western world for the first time. He challenged people's perception on what was available for people to believe in. Before, you just had the options that were on the table. But now, a new way of thinking and living and breathing and worshiping and honoring and interacting with people was now present. He challenged people's perception through his music, the way she challenged the Prime Minister of Jamaica. And this is where her steps were ordered, to document this journey of the Rastafarian lifestyle, to rebrand it, to revive it, and return it to its roots. The vision for the film, Rasta, A Soul's Journey, is a look at the Rastafarian lifestyle from a global perspective, moving out from the more familiar images of Jamaica to the scope in which this religion and this movement has now grown to. This project and labor of love has been 6 years in the making, and it's born Out of the experience, I understand one of the contributors, one of the lead contributors, Stuart Samuels, had. Partnered up with Patricia Marie Scarlett, who's here tonight. Right here. Give it up, please, again. This tandem took a journey around the world called Rasta, A Soul's Journey, which is now being screened all across Toronto this month, which is so important for you to go out and attend, in the libraries. One of the hardest places it is to get our people. All right? We need to introduce it, so I just appreciate you choosing libraries as a place to draw our people in, to learn, and to take ownership of. This powerful tool has received numerous accolades and awards, and is in place right now for a time where the generation is going to be seeking sources of strength and power, and for them to find